If you're over 60, here's a belief almost everyone holds, and almost no one ever questions, that the medications you take are helping your body more than they're harming it. That feels logical, reassuring even. But what if that assumption is incomplete? What if the story you've been told about prescription drugs and aging is only part of what's really happening inside your body right now? What if the very pills meant to protect your heart, calm your stomach, steady your mood, or help you sleep are quietly affecting other systems at the same time, without you ever feeling it happen? And here's the question most people never ask. If medications were slowly changing how your body works after 60, would you feel it early enough to connect the dots? According to emerging research in aging physiology and pharmacology, many commonly prescribed medications don't act in isolation. They ripple through the body, influencing multiple systems at once. And after 60, those ripples don't fade quickly. They travel farther, last longer, and interact with an aging body that no longer compensates the way it once did. That alone should make us pause, because what does this really mean for day-to-day health and medication safety for seniors? Here's the unsettling part. When these changes begin, they rarely feel dramatic. They don't announce themselves with pain or alarms. They feel like getting older. A little more fatigue than last year, a bit less balance. Slower recovery, weaker digestion, morning brain fog that seems to come out of nowhere. But here's the curiosity worth holding on to. What if age isn't the full explanation for why you don't feel like yourself anymore? Did you know that after 60, the body processes medications very differently than it did at 40? Not just more slowly, but more selectively? The same dose, the same pill, the same routine can create very different internal effects in older adults. And those effects don't always show up in blood tests or routine doctor visits. So the real question becomes, if the labs look fine but you feel weak, tired, or off balance, where is that disconnect coming from? Here's a question worth sitting with for a moment. Could it be that some of the symptoms you've accepted as normal aging are actually hidden side effects of medications no one ever explained? And if that were true, how many years have people spent blaming themselves or their age for something that has another explanation entirely? Now, this is important. This video is not about fear. It's not about stopping medications. And it's certainly not about blaming modern medicine. In fact, medications save lives every single day. That truth matters. But there's a growing conversation among researchers and clinicians about something rarely discussed with older adults. Medications are designed to manage symptoms, not to strengthen the body's systems. They quiet signals. They override feedback. And over time, especially after 60, that silence can come at a cost. The body adapts by speaking more softly, and sometimes by not speaking at all. So here's the key question. If your body stops sending clear warning signals, how would you know something needs attention? Here's the hopeful part, and this truly matters. Once you understand how medications affect the aging body, you're no longer powerless. Awareness changes outcomes. Small adjustments, informed choices, and the right questions can dramatically reduce long-term medication strain. And that opens a door many seniors don't realize is still available. Which brings us to the most important question of all. If medications are quietly shifting how your body functions after 60, wouldn't you want to know exactly how and what you can do to protect yourself? In this video, you're going to uncover the hidden effects of medications that are rarely explained, rarely written on labels, and rarely discussed out loud. Not to scare you, but to give you back clarity and control. And as we count down, starting with the most overlooked medication effects and moving toward the one truth almost no one ever hears, you may begin to see your own health story in a very different light. Let's begin. Because the first truth is subtle, and that's exactly why it's so easy to miss. Many people believe the greatest risk of medication is a rare side effect listed at the bottom of a label. But if you're over 60, the real threat is usually much quieter and far more common. It's not the dramatic reaction people warn you about. It's the slow, invisible weakening that can happen in the background while everything still seems fine. And here's the question most people never ask. If something was gradually changing inside your body, would you even know when it started? Or would you just call it aging? Here's the unsettling reality. When a medication subtly alters digestion, circulation, nerve signaling, or nutrient flow, it rarely causes immediate pain. Instead, it shows up as changes you're encouraged to accept. Less strength than before, slight balance problems, slower healing, morning brain fog that wasn't there a few years ago, fatigue that never fully goes away. And because these shifts develop gradually, they're often blamed on getting older, not on medication effects in older adults. But what if those changes are signals, not coincidences? According to newer research on aging physiology, the body after 60 handles medications very differently. Organs communicate less efficiently, recovery takes longer, and systems that once compensated easily, like the gut, muscles, and nervous system, no longer bounce back the same way. That means small disruptions can accumulate quietly over time. And here's the unsettling part. Most people don't realize a line has been crossed until daily function noticeably declines. So when did normal actually start becoming a warning sign? This is where the real concern lies. Not in one pill, one dose, or one mistake, but in long-term medication strain that no one tracks. Because when systems weaken slowly, there's often no obvious warning sign, no emergency, just a gradual narrowing of what your body can tolerate. And that raises an uncomfortable but important question. How many age-related complaints are truly inevitable? And how many are actually preventable side effects mistaken for aging? But here's the good news, and this matters. Awareness changes outcomes. Research shows that when people understand how medications interact with aging systems, they can dramatically reduce unintended harm. Not by stopping treatment, but by improving medication safety for seniors and supporting the body more intelligently. And once the right signals are restored, the body often responds faster than people expect. So what changes when you stop guessing and start understanding? There is real hope because this process is not irreversible. The digestive system can regain strength. Balance and reflexes can improve. Nutrient absorption can recover. Energy can return when strain is recognized early and addressed correctly. The key isn't doing everything at once. It's identifying where the stress is coming from and countering it safely step by step with your clinician involved. And that leads to the most empowering truth of all. You are not powerless here. In this video, you'll discover what most people are never told, how hidden side effects of medications can quietly affect critical systems, why these effects matter more after 60, and how to protect your body without giving up necessary care. As we move forward, we'll begin uncovering these hidden medication side effects one by one, starting with the most overlooked, the one many people take every day without realizing how deeply it can influence the body's foundation. According to Harvard researchers studying medication use in older adults, many commonly prescribed drugs don't act in isolation. They can influence multiple biological systems at the same time, especially after the age of 60. In simple terms, a pill taken for one problem can quietly affect digestion, balance, muscle strength, or energy somewhere else in the body. That's why so many seniors say, "I'm taking my meds exactly as prescribed, but I just don't feel like myself anymore." And here's the question that matters. If you're doing everything right, why does your body still feel like it's slipping? A large 2023 review in geriatric pharmacology found that aging bodies process medications differently, not just because metabolism slows, but because communication between organs weakens. In everyday language, the body doesn't pass the message along as smoothly as it used to. So one medication can create a chain reaction you never expected. That's why a drug that felt harmless years ago may suddenly feel heavier now. You may recover more slowly from minor setbacks, or notice that small issues linger longer than they should. And that creates a crucial curiosity point. Is your body struggling, or is it adapting to medication signals it was never meant to handle long-term? Researchers also point out that many medication side effects aren't dramatic enough to be officially reported. Instead, they're functional. In simple terms, they change how well you move, digest, think, or rest, without causing sharp pain. That's why people over 60 often describe feeling off rather than sick. You wake up tired even after a full night's sleep. Your balance feels slightly less reliable. Meals don't give you the same energy they once did, and because these changes happen gradually, they're easy to dismiss. But here's the real question. If a change affects your daily function, Does it really deserve to be ignored? According to studies on aging and medication burden, the more systems a drug influences, the more likely the body is to compensate by dulling sensitivity elsewhere. In real life, that can look like muted hunger signals, dulled body awareness, or reduced feedback from muscles and joints. Many seniors say they don't feel warning signs the way they used to. They don't notice strain until it's already there. So as we continue, keep this question in mind. What if the body isn't failing? What if it's being quieted by long-term medication effects? The science is also clear on one reassuring fact. The body remains adaptable well into later life when it's given the right support. In plain terms, once stress points are identified, function can often improve. People regain energy, digestion stabilizes, balance sharpens. The nervous system becomes more responsive again. But none of that can happen if the underlying interactions are never understood. And that raises a key question. What if the fix isn't more willpower, but better information about how medications affect the aging body? So before we go any further, here's what matters most. This is not about blaming medicine, and it's not about fear. It's about understanding how science explains what you're feeling, and why it's more common after 60 than most people ever admit out loud. Because once you understand the pattern, you can finally stop guessing and start making safer, smarter choices. Now, let's take this knowledge and begin breaking it down step by step, starting with the effect most people overlook completely, even though it sits right at the foundation of how the body absorbs strength in the first place. Now, let's count down the 10 medication truths most people never hear, starting with the most overlooked and moving step by step toward the one that explains why so many adults feel older than they should. Stay with me because the order matters, especially when we talk about medication risks after 60, and the final one connects everything in a way most people find genuinely surprising. As we go, ask yourself this: which of these sounds uncomfortably familiar? And which one have you been overlooking because it seemed normal? And one more question before we begin, because it changes how you hear everything that follows. If medication side effects in seniors often look like ordinary aging, how would you ever know the difference early enough to protect yourself? That's the hidden problem with prescription drugs and aging. Many effects don't scream, they whisper. And when you're over 60, whispers can slowly become your new baseline without you realizing what started it. Number 10. Acid-reducing drugs. They weaken digestion at the source. These medications lower stomach acid, which doesn't just reduce burning, it also reduces the body's ability to break down protein and release key nutrients from food, including vitamin B12 and minerals needed for strength. For older adults, this matters because digestion is the foundation of energy, muscle maintenance, and even nerve function. If you're using one regularly, the safest approach is the lowest effective dose for the shortest necessary window, and a direct conversation with your clinician about whether long-term daily use is still needed. If you're over 60, watch for fatigue, tingling, or unexplained weakness, because hidden medication effects can appear slowly and still disrupt daily life. The result is that you can eat healthy and still feel underfueled, because nutrients never fully reach your cells. So ask yourself, how long can the body run without proper fuel before it starts cutting corners in places you can't see? Number 9. Painkillers. They strain the kidneys and gut barrier. Many common pain relievers work by blocking prostaglandins, chemical messengers that reduce pain, but also protect kidney blood flow and help maintain the gut lining. That means relief can come with a quiet trade-off, especially in older adults. For medication safety for seniors, avoid stacking painkillers without clear guidance and use them for flare-ups rather than as a daily routine when possible. If you're over 60, dehydration, diuretics, and blood pressure medications can amplify kidney strain, which is why normal doses may hit harder than expected. The result is quiet damage. Relief in the moment, stress later, often without an obvious warning. And here's the question to hold on to. What would you notice first if that strain was building? Subtle swelling, less stamina, slower recovery, or just a vague sense that your body is running out of reserve? Number 8. Antibiotics. They erase the foundation of immunity. Antibiotics can be life-saving, but they also disrupt the gut microbiome, the ecosystem that supports immune training and vitamin production. The goal isn't fear, it's smart use of prescription drugs in older adults, with a plan for recovery afterward. Use antibiotics only when clearly indicated, and after the course ends, prioritize rebuilding with protein, fiber-rich foods, and clinician-approved strategies that support gut function. If you're over 60, repeated courses can mean longer recovery windows, digestive sensitivity, and increased vulnerability to infections because the immune foundation temporarily thins. The result is winning the infection but feeling weaker afterward. And this is the curiosity point many people miss. If immunity is built in the gut, what happens when the gut is repeatedly reset before it fully recovers? Number 7. Antidepressants. They balance mood but mute body signals. These medications can stabilize mood by altering serotonin pathways, but those same pathways also influence sleep architecture, appetite cues, temperature regulation, and how the nervous system reads body signals. Consistency matters. Take them as prescribed, report changes early, and never assume you should just push through new fatigue, dizziness, or appetite shifts. After 60, sensitivity often increases, and combining sedating medications can intensify slowed reaction time or unsteadiness, which becomes a real fall risk. The result can be a calmer nervous system, unless it also quiets signals your body needs to notice. And if those signals go silent, here's the question that matters. How would you know the difference between feeling stable and being subtly shut down in ways that affect your daily function? Number 6. Blood pressure medications. They affect balance and reflexes. Lowering blood pressure is one of the most effective ways to reduce stroke and heart attack risk after 60. But here's what's often missed. If blood pressure drops too far or too quickly, the brain may briefly receive less blood during position changes, like standing up from bed or a chair. This is common in older adults. Research on blood pressure medications and aging shows the nervous system compensates more slowly, which can affect balance and reflexes even when readings look perfect. So here's the key question. If the numbers look good but balance feels off, which signal matters more? That's why home monitoring is essential for medication safety in seniors. Paying attention to how you feel when standing or walking is just as important as the numbers. Rising slowly, staying hydrated, and reporting lightheadedness or near falls are not minor issues. They're safety signals. The result can be safer arteries but shakier balance unless the plan protects both. And if balance declines, what happens to independence next? Number 5. Cholesterol drugs. They can reduce cellular energy. Cholesterol drugs effectively lower LDL and reduce heart risk, but in some people, especially after 60, they also affect how muscle cells produce energy. This may appear subtly: heavy legs, unexplained muscle soreness, or fatigue that doesn't match activity. Studies in older adults show this doesn't always mean the medication is wrong, but it can mean the body is struggling at the cellular level. And that raises a quiet question. If energy drops slowly, how long before strength follows? Early reporting matters. New muscle symptoms shouldn't be ignored. Simple adjustments, dose changes, timing, or correcting low vitamin D or thyroid imbalance often help. After 60, drug-nutrient interactions matter more. The result many people see is better lab numbers but less physical power. So pause and ask, are you treating cholesterol on paper or supporting the person who has to move and live every day? Number 4. Corticosteroids. They weaken bones and muscles over time. Corticosteroids are powerful anti-inflammatory medications, and in many situations they are absolutely necessary. But long-term use comes with trade-offs that are especially important after 60. Steroids suppress immune signaling, which reduces inflammation, but they also accelerate bone breakdown, reduce muscle protein retention, and can push blood sugar upward. Research on steroid use in older adults shows that these effects accumulate quietly, often without pain at first. And here's the curiosity that matters. If strength fades slowly, how would you know when real damage begins? The safest approach is to treat steroids like a short bridge, not a permanent lifestyle, whenever possible. When longer use is unavoidable, bone protection strategies should always be part of the conversation. Adequate vitamin D, Appropriate calcium intake and regular movement are not optional extras. They are protective measures. After 60, inactivity or low nutrient status magnifies steroid-related bone loss dramatically. The result can be relief today with a weaker frame tomorrow. And once bone and muscle strength are lost, rebuilding them takes far more effort than protecting them in the first place. So the question becomes unavoidable. Is the treatment plan preparing the body for the future or borrowing from it? Number 3. Sleep medications. They disrupt natural brain rhythms. Sleep medications are often prescribed to help you fall asleep faster or stay asleep longer. But sedation is not the same as truly restorative sleep. According to research on sleep medications in older adults, many of these drugs shorten deep sleep phases, the stages responsible for memory consolidation, emotional balance, and mental clarity. In simple terms, your body may be unconscious, but your brain may not be completing the repair work it's meant to do overnight. That's why many seniors wake up feeling groggy, mentally dull, or unsteady even after a full night in bed. And here's the curiosity worth holding on to. If sleep looks normal on the outside, how would you know the brain didn't fully reset? Practically speaking, safety becomes more important after 60. Mixing sleep aids with alcohol or other sedating medications can sharply increase confusion, delayed reaction time, and fall risk, especially during nighttime bathroom trips. Many people assume morning grogginess is just part of aging, but it can actually be a signal that brain rhythms are being disrupted night after night. The result is sleep that appears sufficient while the nervous system starts each morning already behind. And if the brain doesn't reset properly, what does tomorrow really start with? Rest or recovery debt? Number 2. Combined medications. They block nutrient absorption. When multiple prescriptions are taken together, something subtle but powerful can happen inside the body. Certain drug combinations interfere with how nutrients like magnesium, iron, and vitamin B12 are absorbed, transported, or activated. This is one of the most overlooked medication side effects after 60, because no single pill seems responsible. Instead, the strain comes from interaction. That's why medication safety for seniors always includes reviewing everything you take, prescriptions, over-the-counter products, and supplements, at least once a year and anytime a new drug is added. After 60, this issue becomes more common due to polypharmacy, when several medications are needed to manage different conditions. Over time, reduced nutrient absorption can quietly show up as weakness, poor balance, slower thinking, or ongoing fatigue. Many people say, "I eat well and follow instructions. Why do I still feel depleted?" The result is a body that feels underpowered despite doing everything right. And here's the question that should stop you for a moment. If nutrients are missing at the cellular level, how long can strength truly be maintained? Number 1. The biggest truth. No one says out loud. This is the truth rarely stated clearly. Most medications are designed to manage symptoms, not to rebuild the systems underneath them. They quiet alarms, pain, pressure, inflammation, anxiety, while the underlying cause may continue to grow silently. This doesn't mean medications are bad. Many are life-saving. But after 60, relying on symptom control alone can create a gap between how the body looks on paper and how it actually functions day to day. The smartest move is not stopping treatment. It's asking better questions. Tracking how your body responds over time. Pairing necessary medications with strategies that strengthen digestion, balance, muscle, brain function, and nutrient status. For seniors, this is the difference between just getting by and actively getting stronger. The result is clarity. When you understand which medications may weaken certain systems, you gain the ability to protect what matters most: mobility, independence, and quality of life. And now we reach the actionable part. Because next, you'll learn the simple, doctor-safe questions and practical safety steps that help protect your body while continuing to use medications wisely. This is where awareness turns into control, and where everything you've learned starts working for you, not against you. If you've been feeling more tired, unsteady, or simply not like yourself lately, you're not alone. Many adults over 60 experience the same shift and quietly wonder why it's happening now. The good news is this: the body can regain strength, balance, and mental clarity at any age once you understand what's actually holding it back. And here's a question worth pausing on as you listen. What if the problem isn't you at all, but how your body is responding to medications after 60? This is exactly why this community matters. When it comes to medication side effects in older adults, shared experiences often reveal patterns no one talks about openly. Tell us in the comments. How old are you, and what's your biggest health goal right now? More energy, better balance, clearer thinking, or stronger muscles? You may be surprised how many people are dealing with the same concerns. And that raises an important curiosity. What changes when seniors stop feeling isolated and start comparing notes about their health? Before we close, one safety reminder always comes first. Always check with your doctor before changing medications, adding supplements, or making major diet adjustments. Medication safety for seniors is about smart, informed choices, not guesswork. Especially after 60, careful care protects long-term health. But remember this as well. The aging body remains highly adaptable. With the right support, balance can return, energy can improve, and systems affected by long-term medication use can often stabilize again. So the real question becomes, not if improvement is possible, but how to approach it safely. If this video helped you better understand hidden medication effects after 60, give it a like and share it with someone who may need reassurance today. And stay with us, because in the next section, you'll learn practical, doctor-safe steps to protect your body while continuing to use medications wisely. That's where everything you've learned starts turning into real, actionable change.